Ayo, and welcome back.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. My name is Neon, and today here with me is Vee. No, that's not how it works. My name is Neon Genesis. I'm a variety streamer.
Fantasy XIV. My name is Neon Genesis. This is the lovely and the most beautiful of V players. VV, TT, all the T's, V's,
TDs,
and
TDs. Sorry.
And welcome to our playthrough of Final Fantasy XIV Dawntrail's patch 7.2. We're a good chunk in. Just beat our trial in the last video. If you missed it, go and watch it right now. Like
not now already, because you're watching this one. But
yeah, if you didn't see that video, you should pause this video, open up another tab, because
they'll forget to come back. They'll forget to come back.
We know you're at work and you're probably watching videos or something, or you should be working, or hell, you may be having a crap and you're hiding from the missus and you're watching a video on the toilet, right? Pause this video, tab out, go and watch that video. It's a good video. It's really well edited. Edit it really well, please, because we haven't edited yet. It's really well edited.
It's not edited yet.
And this video, it's all kicking off a little bit now. And we're out here in the Dawntrail Heritage Found. As there's, what was the story going on here, Vee? There was
Erenville is out, and basically Erenville called us on the link pearl. And he said that there's big trouble because one of the civilians was killed by one of the machinations, and the other machinations subdued the other machination. But then the last thing that we heard was, "Oh God, it's here," or something like that, and we still don't know what he's referring to. So, based on the soundtrack that we were hearing, it could have been like a duty. Maybe it is. Maybe it's just a big cutscene. Maybe it's a duty.
No, it's fine.
Duty. Anyway.
Continue.
Duty. Duty.
So we think there could be a duty going on, or maybe a dungeon. I'm leaning towards duty personally. I don't know I can't remember the cycle of FF14 if we get a dungeon every patch. I feel like mostly you do.
Yes, but we've never seen 2 dungeons in a patch, I don't think.
We haven't had a... Oh yeah, we have had a dungeon, haven't we? No, we haven't had a dungeon.
We had a dungeon just before the trial.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. So So sorry, I'm sorry. Yeah, so I don't think it'll be a dungeon. I'm fairly certain it'll be a duty or a cutscene.
Or a big cutscene, yeah, duty or a cutscene,
at least.
I think.
I'm really enjoying this patch. Way better than I thought I would. 7.1 was good, and I was concerned. It's not finished yet, but I was concerned that maybe they couldn't keep that quality going, giving us a good 7.2. But so far, it's looking meaty. So if you're yet to play 7.2, holy moly, is it good? There is some side
and looking meaty.
There is some side content I'm actually kind of tempted to try, and it's unlike me to kind of like want that, because I'm not like a big FF14 player. I mean, I am and I'm not. I do love 14. You know, me and Vee, I think we have dreams of maybe doing like raids together, like not just like the even 8-man raids or extremes or something. We have these dreams. Maybe one day we'll actually get around to trying them and doing them, and then we'll be giving our thoughts on the raid tier and stuff. I think that would be uber fun, but maybe we'd have to plan that in some time.
I think you should let us know in the comments whether this is something that you'd like to see. We can be not shitty players when we try not to be.
Yeah. Like I'm not gonna lie. The Samurai, my peak was Stormblood. After Stormblood, it got okay in Shadowbringers. I took a huge break. Endwalker didn't really learn to play Samurai properly, and it's kind of almost the same now with Dawntrail. There is a video I need to watch, as you reminded myself of like the rotation and stuff. So I might actually look into that. But yeah, let us know if you want us to do that. Maybe we can stream independently on YouTube on a particular night of the week or something, rather than recording. But just be, just our, AKA Savage or Extreme Raids, and then just hear me and Vee trying to like piece together the mechanics. Oh, I think this is what we need to do, and I really love dissecting fights like that and like learning the fights and the mechanics. But anyway, let us know what you think. And before we begin the video, as Vee would probably normally say, be sure to give the video a like. Give it a thumbs up right now, because why not? It's free. It helps.
Subscribe.
Leave us an emoji as well if you can, just for some kind of engagement, to let us know that you watched this video whether you watched it through to the end or not. Just leave us a comment anywhere. Helps engagement, gives us the good old algorithm RNG, a little bit of a nudge. And subscribe if you're new. Check the bell notification icon. Check the description for links to my channel and Vee's channel, depending on where you're watching this, because in fact, these are on both 2 YouTube channels. Join us live on Twitch. Our links are also in the description below.
I'm trying here.
And I don't know if you've got anything else left to say, Vee, but when you're ready, if you've got nothing else to say,
no,
we dive in when you're ready.
No, let's dive in.
Not you look like you've been offended. You're like, I'm like, if you've got anything else to say, you're like, no.
No, let's go.
No, let's go.
Sphene says.
Okay.
So, this is how it is outside. These clouds. Ah, never mind. Finding Erenville is what matters right now. Yes, Alizé. I don't see Erenville. I pray he hasn't come to harm. Even though everything pointed towards him coming to harm.
Blue Char says, yay! No, he doesn't. He says, the people here took care of me, giving me food and making sure I was alright. I can't bear to imagine the soldiers hurting them.
Vulklamat says, things have settled down here, but I still see no signs of Erenville. Let's split up and look for him. You're not going with me, are you? Gulja Sphene, please search in the settlement area. God damn it! Meanwhile, the rest of us, who can defend ourselves, will head further out. Condescending little...
Vee.
Sorry, I woke up and chose violence today.
Literally in the first dialogue.
Do you have a ride for me?
Do I have a ride for you?
Yeah.
I'll ride for you. Get on my big fat one.
So good, but I can't. It's too big, and I can't even target it.
You can target me.
Oh,
target me and click Ride Pavilion. A pro FF14 streamer and YouTuber, by the way, guys, has guides on lots of things, but doesn't know how to ride. Doesn't know how to ride a
I know how to ride very well. Thank you. That's not. Anyway.
So Vee, predictions on what's going to happen. You've got about 15 seconds to tell me what you think is going to happen here.
I think we are going to have a duty, and I don't think Erenville is going to die, but I think that the person who did die is probably someone we know or we've seen before, because we still have no words on who the civilian who was killed is. So I think we're going to get that reveal, and unfortunately I don't think we're going to see anything gruesome. But
no, I think you're right. I don't think Erenville's going to die. Like, that would be too shocking, and all over the internet would have heard it by now because people can't help themselves. But I do think, I think you're right. I think whoever it is dead is someone we've seen from the MSQ, but a small minor role.
Yeah, but someone who we normally would have liked. Oh, not
we have a fight though. All right, I think that's Terrified Chicken. All right, you ready?
Yeah, Terrified Erenville. Oh, I'm not ready.
Never mind.
I've been playing World of Warcraft so much that I actually was pressing the button trying to get myself into Feral Druid form. Yes, I'm a traitor, okay? We're all traitors.
You tell me that, and yeah, I play 14 with you. WoW with you.
Yes. Terrified Citizen. Let me check out this one. Oh, he or she said, what is that? Thank you. Oh, thank you. Erenville's yours.
I'm in a cutscene, Vee.
Oh.
I'll read a little bit so while you do the waiting. Erenville says, that was a close call. My thanks. As I was leading the soldiers away, I caught sight of this poor fellow being pursued. I went to help, but was rather out of my depth. Lucky you found us when you did.
Erenville, I'm so glad you're safe. We were quite worried when we couldn't find you. We encountered soldiers on the way here. Most paid us no mind, but some turned out to be hostile. There's no way to tell until they set on you.
The ones here also attacked without any warning. If I hadn't been paying attention, it could have ended badly. Hopefully the others were able to escape. We should return to the outskirts and take stock.
What does that mean? Like, do a head count or something? Let's take stock.
I think it's like discuss the matter away from where we're at, you know?
We can teleport. Or you really want me to be on the thick one? Sure. I'll ride it.
Alright, ready?
Yeah.
Ride in now.
No. Mother.
I was laughing, but I knew your reaction would be that. read
all...
people. I'll read Malachite's.
Sure.
I did not expect to see you again so soon. Allow me to thank you again for your earlier help. And Joe says, we responded to Shield's call as quick as we could. Others are out here keeping an eye on the soldiers nearby. Lujar says, yay! Thank you, Neon, for protecting everyone. But you shouldn't have had to. None of this would have happened if I could control the soldiers. Oh, feeling a bit of guilt.
Sveen, no one thought that Gul'Ja might have been behind the attacks. They know that he would never make soldiers do them harm. Even so, he feels responsible for the machine's actions. It is a misplaced burden, and I pray it drives him not to despair. The situation here appears to have been resolved, but I doubt we've seen the last of such incidents. I didn't expect to see Malachite out here. Given his own trauma, I wonder if he'll be alright.
Right. We're none the worse for the wear. But let's see what the
Sorry,
situation is here.
there's a pigeon right out my window, like it's almost in my room.
People came and joined us while we were searching for you.
Oh.
After which we happened to encounter Malachite. His usher duties brought him here, and he has quite the story to tell.
It's a bit puzzling, to say the least. Even so, I'll try my best to explain. I was called to attend to the unfortunate soul slain by the mechanical soldier. Yet, when I arrived, I found no body, only a pile of dust, which the wind quickly scattered. Confused, I questioned the residents, but none knew what had become of it.
How odd. Did they remember the victim at least?
They did. Their memories of the deceased weren't sent to the cloud, I don't believe. Yet, no body remained.
If someone took it, surely they would have been noticed.
With your permission, I shall return to the government sector for now. Please take care.
This is terrible. Why would they make the soldiers do this?
If preservation is behind the attacks, I fear this won't be the end of it.
All the Neo-regulators have been distributed, and potentially 5,000 Endless are about to be born. What does CALYX hope to achieve with these killings? Does he seek to frighten people into registering them? Or perhaps...
I think so.
Oh, thank the 12 you answered. Shale told me what happened. Is everything all right? I see.
Talking about that cutscene with Ryan.
'Tis a relief to hear that Erenville is safe. Alas, I do not have good news to share in return. A driver lost control of his vehicle when its interface became unresponsive, and it crashed into the Nexus arcade, injuring several people. Kryl and I are helping to render aid, but with the sentries behaving strangely, we can't afford to lower our guard. Remain vigilant, my friend.
I just received word from the backroom. A hover cargo on TrueView threw off its driver, and it's rampaging through the area as we speak.
Alphino had a similarly troubling report for me. Apparently, a riderless machine in the government sector came to life near a crowd clamoring for near regulators. It proceeded to mow down several citizens, causing serious injuries.
This is a tragedy. We must go and help the people.
Sphene, wait! I'm coming with you!
Alphino is with Y'shtola, and he said they'll be all right. I'll go and see if other incidents have occurred elsewhere. From here, I'll head towards the quarry by way of the Drift Downs.
Certainly a lot of hover cargoes coming and going in those parts. I'll join you.
I shall remain here and speak further with the locals. I have company now, so you needn't worry about me.
Then let's return to Solution 9. If we hurry, we can catch up to Lamachi and Sphene.
Oh, we can teleport. Huh?
Yeah, I still feel like something's gonna happen with Gul'jar.
Maybe this is his growth arc, where he actually learns how to take control of these machines because someone else is taking control.
Yeah, like be a king. Because the thing is, he's only young. But also, I was gonna say that it really does sound like there is gonna be a war. Like if it's like 500 soldiers, something, like. Well,
I mean,
that's it. Yeah, what did I say? Oh, I have to say something that they could do and it'd be so cool. But I'll wait for now. That's a bright hair. Vee, you've had that colour, right?
No. Did you have some odd dreams lately?
Yeah,
all you've had.
Ahead. I leave her
I
with
like
you.
that.
I'm not gonna lie, Geode also sounded a lot like Clive. He's like, I'll go this way, Joshua.
Squid Games!
I've never seen it.
Their ranks are determined. Like the ranks of the soldiers there.
Bloody things have gone mad.
1 second.
By the symbol on their face. And they're like PlayStation symbols, like circle, triangle, square, X.
Oh, nostalgia. Not gonna lie, these like the scenes and the editing and this is so good. Like it's really up to the game. Dawntrail's cutscenes have been phenomenal, I'm not gonna lie. Oh, here she is.
Finally, she's getting a bit of spotlight, you know?
Fire 3?
We missed her.
Surely there's a finite number of these things.
Surely.
Everyone, please try to remain calm and make your way to resolution.
Remain calm as the firing lasers at him.
This is just like before.
Bombs going off.
Unleash the soldiers on us. I don't have any souls left. I don't want to die. I don't want to die.
This particular scene is something else. Like, well, Alphino and his face. It's actually weirdly emotional.
Yeah.
You can almost feel how he feels. Very good.
Oh. I'm sorry, but that looked very explosion-y, did it?
Looks very cartoony.
Have my paintbrush.
No! No! Why did you do that? Why? You can't just...
Just leave me alone like this! If we had been endless then, you'd still be here. You'd still be with me. But now...
They can't accept it.
The transitions that they're doing in this stuff is so cool. Like the swipe. Yeah, how badass that look, yeah.
Are you alright?
No.
That's Vee. I think it is with a hood up.
I think she's about to lose her shit.
Yeah. Don't know who it is.
So
You.
many hurt. So many dead. This is wrong. This is all wrong.
The music that was just playing for all of that combat scene was very much, for me, inspired, like the FF13 soundtrack. You might not be able to tell what I mean by that, but very, very good scene though.
To me, I was reminded of Endwalker. No, not Endwalker, Shadowbringers, and like the Crystarium, like the fight that, you know, the Exarch was in when he was... Oh. Wanna read?
Yeah. I was expecting voice acting.
Me
for some
too.
reason.
He opened his mouth and nothing came out.
Yeah.
Like, the game muted? Such an important scene.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not gonna lie. In this patch, they've done a lot of voice acting, like most of it, in fact. So it felt odd because they've gone from a voice actor scene to this, but it still looks like it's voice acted, and yet it's not. So
like he opened his mouth, he was zoomed in, and he was like,
yeah, like it was a cutscene.
Yeah.
Thank the 12, you're all unharmed. Just small solace amidst this tragedy, however.
The machine rampage seems to have been only temporary. Soldiers and vehicles alike ceased to operate all at once, as if they had fulfilled their purpose. It's the same outside Everkeep, though members of Oblivion are keeping watch for good measure. The first attacks came shortly after the announcement that Neo regulators had run out. It can't have been a coincidence. I struggle to imagine that anyone but CALYX could gain control of the soldiers. This must have served his ends in some way. Gololcha, are you still without your authority?
It's fine now. I'm in control again.
Also, he has the control, but someone took over, like someone hacked the system or something. I think that's what... I don't know.
Assumably so. It doesn't. For me, it doesn't feel very clear of how.
Me neither.
Yeah.
We might take the opportunity to shut down the machines. There's no guarantee this won't happen again.
I'm actually just talked with Everkeep's administrators about that. They said it wasn't so simple. Simple.
The mechanical soldiers don't only serve as guards, they also perform various vital tasks like providing medical treatment and managing food production. If we shut them down, we'd struggle to render aid to the citizens, let alone restore their lives to normal.
I made it so they can't use weapons anymore, though. Hopefully that makes it a little safer.
That seems the best approach for now. Thank you for your swift action, Gololcha. Yeah, I need to understand that more.
Yay!
This powerlessness, I can abide it no longer. No matter how much hardship and loss we would endure if there was but happiness at the end. Yet all I see is suffering and misery. And I cannot bear it. I want to protect the people. For their happiness, I would do anything and everything. So please, please lend me your aid. Oh, Sveen, you found the words I wish you'd said back then.
Aww.
A strength is yours, Sveen. You have my axe. Together we'll get through this. I haven't seen Lord of the Rings, so never mind. You have my spear.
Let's split up and get to work. Might as well be you to report to Shield, my friend. It was actually a bit of a heartwarming scene with Wukelamat. She's like, the thing is, like, I have mixed emotions about Wukelamat. I understand what the community feel for her, from one reason to another, that I'm not going to get into. But there's something about Wukelamat that, to me, it almost feels like Wukelamat has a crush on Sveen.
Maybe a little
It's
bit.
so weird, yeah, for me. Not that it's weird to have a crush on him. It's just a vibe I'm getting. And then she's like, "Oh, we should found the words, but you know, you found the words that we should said back then." But maybe it's like, "Oh, I wish the other Sveen, you know, the one that she was fangirling over a little, because she was fangirling a bit Wukelamat. She was like, "Oh, there's Sveen. Oh, look, I'm gonna follow Sveen. I know, I'm gonna follow Sveen and show her around the, you know, Solution 9 and all this, and like, oh, she's gonna show us around." And I think she was fangirling a little bit, kind of thing. And then now she's like, "Oh, you found the words that I thought you know, that I wished that you'd say to me." Like, she was like, she felt validated in some way. She was like, "Oh, there's the words I wish I'd heard."
I think
know, you know?
so, and I'm actually starting to realize something that may or may not make sense at all, but I think that part of the reason why Wukelamat is not the most beloved character is because she's a Hrothgar. I think that she's a large woman, and I think that if she was cuter, and if she was like if she had like a little bit of a different appearance, I think she would have been like a lot more liked. I don't know, that's just me, but
I'm not gonna lie, I kind of agree with what you're saying there. And it's a shame that even in a video game that we feel that there's a bit of racism involved. But I do agree. I think I like Sveen, and that might be me biased, because I think Sveen's a pretty character. You know, she's not exactly bad to look at. Like Shale, like Elizan and Hrothgar's are not overly too amazing to look at. and Sveen's more human and more relatable to look at in a more of an attractive sight. And Wukelamat is not at all. But kind of a part of me likes Wukelamat because of a few reasons. One, she's got these cute eyes, like they're very adorable looking eyes. Her voice actor is like, "Oh, Sveen," like very. There was a post months ago where people were comparing Wukelamat to Tidus from FF10 or Tidus from FF10, and I actually fully am on board with. I understand like what people see in them, but Tidus or Tidus was also a character in FF10 who I think comes across as a bit whiny, naive. Whiny, naive, a little bit immature, and then grows along the journey. And Wukelamat has been that for me as well, where they've been naive, a bit immature at times, a bit childish, but grew and had that. Do you remember that scene? Was it Sveen? Sveen, cosplay for you. Do you remember that scene where there was the whole like attack on Tuliol had happened, and then she was stood there and she had that really powerful scene along the pier. Like I felt that was her like I'm growing kind of arc. And
me
she
too.
really did grow there.
I don't know. I felt completely different about it. I felt like it was a great opportunity, but from there it flopped again. It just felt like, you know, I do agree.
I was gonna get onto that as well. Yeah, that was like the arc where she's actually gonna grow into a character now, but didn't really. She didn't degrade, but she just didn't grow any more from that.
No, it was just like a start, but it's like they forgot about that scene and forgot to write her different. I actually have a different perspective on Wukelamat's, I guess, on her face, which is, you know, you said, okay, she has big eyes, she's adorable, whatever, but my autistic self, like, when she looks directly at the camera, I want to look away. That's the thing. Like, she actually makes me uncomfortable, whereas Sveen, for example, she's often showed from the side, and she's often under a hood, which makes me more comfortable to look at her. And Wuklamat with her big eyes, like, when she's, like, the center of the whole game, I'm like, you know, I feel observed.
Yeah, I think another point I wanted to make is because of Wuklamat's big, large eyes, they look very young. And this comes across again with the naivety with her, you know, the naive, immature, and not knowing how to express her emotions a lot. And I think the game, the story, has had its chance, maybe the writers have had its chance to make Wuklamat grow as a character, you know, from the death of her father through the attack on her, I guess, village, if you like all these moments, and she just hasn't got this huge growth arc yet, or maybe she never will. I think one thing I will say about her, because we've controlled her, I think once at least in combat, and we've seen her in combat in cutscenes, is she is strong. Like, she is powerful. Like, when I was controlling her in the duty, I was like, damn, she hits hard. And like, she was going up against some of these face-to-face, some of these enemies. She is powerful. So I kind of respect her for that, at least. And even though she's this immaturity and this naivety, she's actually got a power within her that is, that she doesn't gloat about. She's not like saying, I'm the most powerful warrior in the world, blah, blah, blah. She is actually, like, literally, she's a really powerful character.
I think that because of that, I agree with you. And I think if I was a writer, and I'm not for a very good reason, but if I wrote this story, the way I would do her character growth arc or whatever, after the death of her father, I would make her deteriorate a little bit and would probably make the story so that she goes into bloodlust. And so that we have to like do something to stop her from doing this and that, and then once she calms down, she realizes that she has all this power, but then keeps it contained or whatever. So that's how I would go. I wouldn't write her in a way that she wakes up next morning and she's like, okay, putting everything under the carpet, let's go to the dome, explore the world or whatever. I would use bloodlust because she's a warrior. So for me, that would be the logical thing for her to like lose her shit. And then for us to, you know, try and like bring some sense into her, which I think everyone wanted to do.
I think playing her like an orc in WoW, you know, this whole bloodlust and getting her angry and like we needing to calm her down or something, is a good take. I don't think that would work for her because of the position she's in with her, you know, with this she's the resolve of whatever, right? Reason, is it? And I think that she's in a position where she has to keep her cool and not show emotion much because she's not allowed to, right? And I think that also makes her character hard to write a little bit because she doesn't grow. We need her to lose her shit to grow, is basically what you were getting at.
I wish we had a battle with her. Like, I wish we could have given her a good beating, because I think, first of all, everyone wanted to, and I think that...
You mean play as her and fail in a fight or something?
No, play against her. Like, have a duty where we fight her. And then we subdue her, and then she loses the bloodlust, and she's like, okay, I gotten it out of my system.
Lost my ways now. I've let my anger out. I know what you're saying. But cautiously, I will just say though, Wuklamat isn't that big a deal of a story here. This is more focused on Sveen and even a little bit of Guljar, not keeping control of the soldiers. And now it's about this Fandaniel bloke, this kid now, right? This CALYX. I am loving CALYX as a character already, as a villain.
So good.
It's such a change of pace. I know Meton was a young girl, right? I get it, and now Sveen was this evil girl, but it's now not a part of evil Sveen. Now it's about a kid. So now it's not the same sex, it's now the opposite, and I'm okay with it being that way, because we've had villains like Emmett Selk, who, like, you know, snappy and swaggy and you know, very sure of himself, as Emmett Selk was. But then this one's about a young lad with like dark circles behind his eyes, got a pipe in his neck, God knows why, why is he this way? Was he created? What got him to where he is? Where did he come from? You know, what's his story? And this is the things that I'm truly excited for. I do think, though, that this kid will be either one of two things: the finale of 5.3, or the finale of 7.5, or the finale of 7.5, which leads on to something else that will lead us into the next one. I think, personally, I'm leading towards I'm wanting him to be a part of this longer, because I think they've got a lot more they could explore with him, and really lean up to the next expansion. I can't even imagine where we're going to go. Holy moly, I'm excited for the next expansion already, but I can't wait to see like how this plays through. I don't think Sphene will be a primitive figure for 7.5 leading in. I think she'll be like a character in, I can't think of a character in Endwalker now, but you know, like one where they're just a part of that world's expansion. Like Lise is now stuck in Stormblood, right? She stayed there. Sphene ain't coming with us. She's not a Scion. I don't think so. And if she does, I don't mind her, honestly. I wouldn't mind her, but she doesn't fit.
Yeah,
she
no.
absolutely does not fit as a Scion, and I don't think Wukelamat does either. I don't want to see Wukelamat come in as a Scion and being a part of the gang.
She has her own job.
Meeting us in Rising Stones and all this. Like, I don't see that happening. I think I just see this as a story arc that's going to lead into something bigger and greater, but we don't know what that is yet. And I think this kid, CALYX, has a big plan on that, because he's already talking about these other reflections, right? This leads to a bigger story outside of Dawntrail.
So I have
I'm
a
not
few
gonna
things
lie.
to say about CALYX when you're done.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie and say that a lot of people have like had strong opinions on Dawntrail, and I get it, but I do think that people will be thanking Dawntrail when they see what's coming up in the next expansion. Mark my words.
I think that he's a good character. There's a big difference to me between the kind of villains like Emmet Selk, who I don't really see as a villain, but let's focus on him when he... Okay, let's focus on... let's use Xenos as an example, who is a villain. He was very flashy and very, I guess, he expressed himself. Let's actually talk about Fandaniel, for example. I think he's an even better example of someone who expressed himself a lot with his face. I have equal appreciation of someone who does a lot of things with their face, who are, you know, who are like him when being a villain. Whereas CALYX, he just his face moves so little, and he's so cold, and I kind of really like that. Yeah, there's I think that there's different. I use Harry Potter a lot because of the rich fantasy and because of some of the things that I can compare it to. I know that it's not something that a lot of people want to hear, but I have a really good example of the same person. So for example, to me, it's the difference between, let's say, Voldemort and Tom Riddle, where Voldemort is the same person, but he was, for example, so flashy, but when he was a kid, he also had this expressionless face and was
hand face,
so I really kind of like these characters. I think that there's no way we're dealing with him in 7.2. I think he's a much bigger issue, and I want to see him till at least 7.3. And I am, from the combat point of view, if he is a trial and if he is a scientist or whatever, I would be very curious to see how they're gonna pull off that fight, because there's gotta be like different mechanics, and they have to make it so that he doesn't like fight physically, but instead uses like either science or controlling other things to fight us. So I'm already imagining the trial with him if we get it. And I think that's going to be really, really interesting. I like him. I'm intrigued by him. I don't think he's a good person, but I think that we're gonna discover a lot more about him. And I also like the whole dynamic between him and Sphene. To me, that was very interesting. Even though she was an AI, he had a little bit of appreciation for her as if she was a person. I kind of, I kind of enjoyed seeing that. So I don't know why he has the pipe or whatever, and I know I call him a sick boy, but he is an Endless, and he did say that he relinquished his flesh long ago, so we don't really know what he's powered with. But I also think from the combat standpoint that that's going to be something that's a part of the combat mechanics, because I think that he has a power that we don't know about yet. So he's either being charged with something or whatever, but something is keeping him, if not just alive, maybe even more powerful. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, no, I'm on the same page as you. And one thing I do think they had a huge missed opportunity with is with the MXL's introduction, at the time anyway. They had, like, to me, I saw so many similarities to a game you can't refer to yet, V, but so many similarities to Kefka to me. Kefka, oh boy, that's a villain.
I just heard really bad things about him, like not good things,
he is,
like best
one
villain,
of the worst villains.
But worst villains, like the only thing that I know is that he's done some things with seemingly no reason or explanation or whatever, that he's just bad shit. That's the only thing that I really know about his character. I've never played the game.
He is, it's like FF6 in general is just a dark game, like really dark. I think if 6 got remade, it'd be FF7 for me. And that says a lot to me, because you know FF7 is my favourite game of all time. But I think if 6 got remade like 7 remake, oh my god, I think it would be my favourite game, because it's incredible, amazing characters. Anyway, they missed a point with MXL, because MXL had like this white streak in his hair, looked almost like a jester, and had this like wit to him, like he was very flamboyant and very eccentric. And that's a little like Kefka, and I really felt that in Shadowbringers they were really going to do something with him, and they did, but they did something. They also took that to a different level that I didn't think that, they would go with, with Amarot and such, which is so cool. What great game that was, but like they missed that opportunity, and I really want to see some fucked up, sickening villain now. I'm ready. Like 14 kind of needs it now. I mean, we have we've beaten the End of Days, and we've basically beaten the world from oblivion, and yet these villains are like, you'll never stop me. I'm like, dude, you haven't seen the things I've beaten. I've beaten Hades, I've been to the end of the world and back. But okay, dude, okay, then you bring out your mini little Bahamut, because I've beaten the Binding Wall of Bahamut. so but anyway, yeah, I'm really excited so far. I'm very much enjoying. Let's continue on.
The last thing that I want to say is, sure. I think if you like those characters, for example, like Kefka, like Emmett Salk, who look a bit Joker-ish, I honestly think you would really enjoy Hunter x Hunter, because they have a very, very similar character who is somewhat of a villain, kind of, at least in the story where I'm at, and I think you would really enjoy his arc, but I'm not gonna spoil it for you if you ever decide to watch it. Anyway,
so read the mini characters first. Yeah.
Sphene. It pains me. It pains me that the people were made to suffer even more after so much hardship and tragedy, but you and yours saved many lives. I cannot thank you enough. I kind of think that Sphene and Golja are gonna be like the reason and resolve. That's what it feels like to me, but we'll see. Malachite and his fellows are tending to the deceased. His trauma must make the work difficult, but he's determined to do what he can. And Shale says...
Wait. Sorry. Because Shale's the MSQ, and I've got Golja to read.
Oh shit, oh yeah, sorry.
Golja says, couriers and cleaners are clearing away the wrecks of vehicles and soldiers. It's the first step to getting things back to normal. Now you can read Shale.
It's been a trying day, but it seems the worst is behind us. What's the situation out there now? Well, honestly, I'm so glad that we waited with this, because we wouldn't have ended up talking about some of these characters yesterday night, so I'm glad we didn't rush it.
Me too. You can read the next dialogue. Okay.
Yeah. You've moved quickly to restore things to normal. Thank you. Yet, while disarming the soldiers is indeed prudent, it is a far from comprehensive measure when vehicles can be commandeered to inflict damage and sow chaos. For the time being, I'll set our people to keeping a close watch on machines. I also have a mind to consult the authorities about enlisting hunters to our aid. I must regain my proficiency in magic. To that end, I shall seek advice from Yashola and Alice. Among the books we recovered from the castle was a grimoire I once used. I hope to learn to wield it again at everyone's side. As for the key, I think it best that it remains in your care, though it means you will bear the greatest risk, something we're used to. In order to ease your burden, I shall endeavor to become a capable warrior and make Otis and Zelania proud.
She's gonna learn to fight? Oh my god, they could make her a Beatrix Kappa. Alright, Seekers of Eternity. And
we get a cutscene. I think this was the last quest, because we get a cutscene now.
Let's see. Ah, that's...
Oh, he's just
zone.
chilling there, yeah.
By illness weakened, by wounds unmade, by age decayed. Such fragile flesh is worthless to us. How mankind should evolve, shall evolve. I have already arrived at the answer. The time is come to pose a new
Is
question.
that gloves on?
Reprieve from death, but at what cost? Friendless life, a legion lost. Always move too quickly. Wow. So we got a few things out of that cutscene. He was touching his neck, and
Yeah.
I think that he's traumatized by illness. This is just my prediction, but I think he was probably very, very sick or something. Maybe I was right to call him a sick boy, because I think that there was
You are
something
right.
keeping him alive, and I think he's traumatized by how mortal he is, and that actually pushed him into science and discovering how to basically become an endless, be immortal and whatnot. To me, he's especially eerie because you won't believe me, but he is a spitting image of one of my cousins. So every time I look at him, like, he looks almost exactly like him. This is very scary to me. But apart from that, shout out to my cousin. He's wonderful. But but I did not need to see him in CALYX anyway. I think that I think that they're doing what they've always done so well, which is basically creating a villain, but a villain who a lot of people can understand and relate to, because all he wants is essentially, and I'm gonna say this in the most blunt way possible, is to save people. So he doesn't see himself as a villain, he sees the sacrifices that, you know, need to be made from his perspective. But he's an evolutionist, and he's a scientist, and he objectively sees the sacrifice that needs to be made for the betterment, supposedly, of the human race, and he is not trying to destruct or cause pain for no reason. So everything that he does is with reason, within logic, and that's kind of what really has me intrigued. But I think that there is a selfish reason and some sort of a trauma or so something we don't know about him just yet that made him actually be afraid. I think that more than anything, he is afraid to die.
Yeah, he said, weakened by illness. Did he say decayed by age?
Yeah.
It's like you wonder if those words, like, what are the meaning behind those words? He did say something else that I've, seen it once, and I'd have to watch it back in editing or something. But it's very interesting to see what they're gonna do with him. And yeah, the touching his neck is certainly alluding to something. Like, like they could deflate him pretty quickly. Not saying it's like a balloon. I'm not saying that, but they could deflate him as a character very quickly if they choose to, and have 7.3 pull out this thing. He's gonna turn into an enemy. We're gonna fight him as a primal, or a summon of some kind, or an enemy, or a boss, and then the end of his cycle. I think it would be kind of a bit lackluster. I think they could really lean into something bigger, lean into the next expansion. And this one, they've heavily referenced FF9. It makes me wonder if they're going to reference any particular next expansion, another Final Fantasy game, because they have done that with little bits of others, like Endwalker was FF4, FF9, FF for Dawntrail. So it just makes me wonder, man, if they ever do any references to 7, I'll be crying. Like, that is my favorite game of all time. I know they did the weapons and stuff like that already, but like to me, there were still sort of subtle references, but they weren't like in the main story. And I'm not gonna lie, there is some mega thick references to 9 in this. Like you might have missed. Like,
Probably.
Solution 9 is a name from FF9. Like already, you probably don't know that. I can tell you probably. It's not even a spoiler, but I could probably tell you, and that alone is a reference. The music playing right now is also in FF9, by the way. Like everything's a reference. Sphene, Garnet, Sphene. You know that's a reference, right? The dungeon, we literally fought a Gargant. We fought basically Beatrix. Like, what more references do you need? Like, there's more. There's more than that as well. So you know, there's this. They really go ham with the references in this, and like even us giving us clothing. There was the rare tier V that they showed off in a live letter was like Zidane's outfit for the Reaper.
I think it was Zidane for Viper, I think, and I think there was a Steiner for the tank. I think for White Mage we got Garnet's outfit. Yeah, and I think there was something. I think for a Picto, was it Quina or something? I'm not sure. I think there was something looked similar to Quina's outfit, and everyone in the chat was commenting on it as well. Yeah.
Cool. I didn't see that. Yeah. Oh man, I'm excited to see where it goes from here. Sad it's over, of course, but there's a mini patch. Do you remember, Vee? They were saying, at 7.25 or something, or 5.5, they were adding smells, and you were asking me, wait, was that a cult something?
So they are actually splitting the content between 7.2 and 7.25. So a lot of things that are not available right now will be available quite soon. And I think that patch would be in the next, I think, a month. I don't think that they'll wait longer than a month for 7.25.
So normally patch cycles, like big patches, like 7.1, 7.2, they're normally every 4 months, I think. Now it used to be every 3 months, I think, but then they've moved the cycle to 4 months, which is fine. But now, because they're doing 7.25 or 5.5 or whatever it is, I think it's 6 weeks after this patch came out. So this has been out nearly a week now, right? Came out on Tuesday. It's now
Thursday.
It's been out over
2
a week.
days.
Oh yeah, sorry, it has only been out today. So yeah, I reckon another 5 and sorry, my brain. I think another 5.5 more weeks at most, and I think the next little small patch of content will be dripped out, I think. So but no, I think this has been a really good patch overall. What do you think, Vee? I'll let you go first. What's your overall thoughts on 7.2 patch? Did it meet standards to you? Do you like where the story's going? Is it slowly redeeming, even just by 1%, is it slowly redeeming its arc from 7.0 a little bit? Do you like the characters? Is it keeping you intrigued? Do you notice many of the improvements with music and all these little subtle details?
Do you think remember all the questions? No, just kidding. No, I'm
just throwing things out there in case so you've got things. So yeah.
I know. So I'm very objective when it comes to my game reviews, and I think that this is something that might have not been fully obvious to some people who have found my content through basically me objectively, in my opinion, criticizing some parts of Dawntrail. But I give credit where credit is due, and I don't have the I guess the mental capability to lie. I don't know how to say things that are just, I don't know, just made for content or whatever. And when it comes to 7.2, for me, objectively, it has exceeded all expectations. I did not expect such a good story. I was hopeful because the story was revolving around Solution 9, and that immediately drew me in because it was my favorite zone from the entire expansion, the one where I actually wanted to spend more time. And then, as a little bit of a teaser, since we did the raid tier quite late, we did the Arcadian, and I was like, I want more of this, I want to spend more time in this place. And this is so far the best patch and the best part of Dawntrail that I have ever played so far. We have a dark character, a new trope, a pleasant place to be in with a cool soundtrack. I really like the environment. I think it's really, like, it's kind of bright but also gentle. I think it has a lot of potential for good stories, and I think Dawntrail is finally doing what they were supposed to do in 7.0, and they're tapping into this existential crisis and the philosophy of whether people should be dying, how do people feel about dying, and how, you know, how they can process this loss and whatnot. I think that if they had more of that in 7.0, we would have immediately understand what the game is trying to do better. Instead, we were dealing with spitting llamas and like negotiations of tradings and this and that had nothing to do with what the expansion was really trying to say to us. And the only part where we actually got, and don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that Final Fantasy XIV should be all dark. I'm a little morbid like that, and I really like these stories. But I guess one of the most memorable moments from 7.0 for me was the story about the, what are they called? The children who were created as mixtures between like those two races, and how most of them would die, and how only some of them would, like the two-headed children, right? The mixtures between the races.
Oh, the Galoo.
Yeah.
Galoo-jars.
Yeah. Do you remember how the story went? Yeah. So they were basically breeding them, and a lot of them would just not make it through the process because they were too weak or whatever. I thought that was one of the most powerful stories in the entire expansion, and I think that we are actually getting the content that we kind of sign up for, and I think that I think that ultimately we should have had more of this in 7.0, and the announcement for the expansion should have been a little different. I think we were sold the story of a holiday, but that's not the game that we bought. And now that you look at the trailer for 7.0, I think you can agree that there's nothing in that trailer that connects that trailer to this particular, I guess, mood or tone. And I still consider post-patches to be a part of the expansion itself. So I think that there should at least be something that tells us you know, that there's a little bit of a different story there. I still think that they missed the opportunity to give us a really good, that final zone that we had to shut down. I can't remember its name. What's it called?
It's just called what's the name? I mean, it's
you know what I mean.
Living
memory. Yes.
Sorry.
But we're coming back there with CALYX basically sitting on top of the living memory. So this dead city is now essentially his, and I like that, and it gave me a little bit of hope that we're going to come back there, and maybe there will be something that we have to, do with that zone. I don't think we're bringing the endless back, because I think that the game is ultimately trying to explain to us that it's okay to die. So that's I guess in the roughest possible terms, I think that the game really taps into that, which is very fearless, considering that everyone dies, and considering that I don't mean to be triggering in any way, shape, or form, but not everyone who plays this game is healthy. Not everyone, is just playing this game and see it from a different perspective. Someone who might have a terminal illness or whatever is also playing Final Fantasy XIV right now, and this expansion might be hitting them a lot different than we think, and this might be a part of their final journey of acceptance. And I think that from that point of view, this game can be very, very difficult to play through for someone. A lot of people have lost someone. We've all lost someone, and I think that the constant mention of death and loss and processing the loss of a loved one and how to be okay with it is really triggering. It's a difficult topic, and I think that essentially Final Fantasy XIV is what it always has been, which is a giant therapy session. In my opinion, it's less of a game and more of a therapy session sometimes, and I'm just glad that they have remained fearless like that, because they've always tapped into these very, very difficult topics, and I felt for a long time that Dawntrail was playing it too safe. And I like that we're going back to just basically getting people to think and talk about things.
Yeah, I think it's very brave of Final Fantasy XIV to keep stepping out of the comfort zone and basically not touching on's the wrong word, but talking about, or at least making aware of these like awkward but normalized thoughts that we have about life and, you know, living forever or having limited life in the life that we have. And I think that is an FF9 sort of reference as well. So they're complimenting 9, but also it's given us you know, some food for thought as well. I think my overall thoughts on 7.2 is I think it's great. I think it's really good. I think it's a solid 8.5, 9 out of 10. Like, I can't think of many ways to improve. And honestly, and for me, 9.5, sorry, not 9.5, 8.5 to 9 again for 7.1, because again, they gave in this patch they gave good camera angles, the transitions. I know I'm a nerd, I'm a video editor as well. I watch a lot of movies, you know, so I can tell when one scene finishes and how they get into the next scene, and they're doing this like swipe thing now. Cool. Maybe it was for this one scene, but I loved it. I thought that was great. I think the music has been phenomenal all throughout this whole this patch in particular, with a few new tracks. I think that at least 2 that I think of. I think that were new, or maybe the same track, and I'm thinking it's 2. And you know, it's one end of the track to the other. But also, the dungeon design was good fun. The boss fights were somewhat challenging, but not too difficult. They were fresh. They weren't recycled mechanics. I mean, sure, some of them are. Sure, we know when a tank bust has happened. This is just so that we know what's going on. But also, the Beatrix fight was quite difficult, and that might be the fact that we did it on launch day. Disclaimer: me and V were just the bare minimum item level, and I'm not gonna lie and say that we went in basically bare minimum, and it was fun. Like, it was fun. It was like, it's like in a few years' time, it'll be like the equivalent of you going back and doing it minimum item level, but doing it on the patch launch. You know, you can see how long it took us to learn these mechanics. Bearing in mind, we're not raiders. We don't do world first. We don't do, like, you know, ultimates or anything. I think we're very casual when we play this game, but it was still fun from a casual standpoint. And a lot of we say is from a casual standpoint. A lot of the criticisms we also say is also because we love this game so much, honestly. My dream is to take V to a fan fest one day and, you know, be with her and, you know, experience the 14 with her. Because going to a fan fest together, nothing will beat it. But yeah, overall, I think
maybe
great.
A Persona concert.
But maybe overall, great expansion, great voice acting. I know there's a lot of comments still about Wuklamart. I didn't mind. I think that she had a pretty minimal role in this patch.
They really toned down, yeah.
And they minimized her a little bit in 7.1, I'll be honest. She was, of course, she is one of the quote-unquote main characters of Dawntrail. She's going to be in scenes. It would be weird to have Wuklamart be this important figure in 7.0, then just side, you know, put her on the bench for the, you know, patches. So she has to be there. She has to have dialogue, and she has to be involved. But she wasn't highlighted. The highlighted now is literally Sveen, Galulja, and CALYX.
I still think Kryle is done dirty, you know?
She's still in scenes. She's still getting dialogue and stuff. I do think that they've highlighted her, but I think that maybe 14 highlighted her on like the front cover of the expansion and stuff, because I think that they felt that what they were doing was this news about her parents and things was going to be a bigger thing than it was. And to us, it really wasn't that. I mean, yes, it's quite shocking, but it was a small portion of this whole 40-hour expansion. It was like 1 hour. Yeah. You know, where she spends time with her parents, that we find out a bit about her parents and that they were from this, like... So to me, I think that that's what their mistake was. And I think that's just a marketing flaw that they've done. I'm not going to hold on to it. They've done that. They have to learn. FF14, not just with Dawntrail, have made tons of mistakes. As I mentioned to you before as well, V, if people think Dawntrail was bad, they were not around for the Heaven's Ward launch. And they learned from it, and guess what? They made some of the best expansions after that. So it's important that even though they've made some mistakes this expansion, it's important that they do it, because they can't get better if they don't make mistakes. They have to make mistakes, and guess what? They had to have an expansion have criticism in it and blop, if you like, for them to grow from it. And I think they will. I don't think it will still be an overall bad expansion, but I do think they're going to grow from it and learn a lot. And if anything, it should drive you forward to think, holy shit, like they're going to learn, hopefully, and make the next one even better or whatever. But you have to remember, a lot of people think next patch they're going to make it better because they got criticism at 7.0. Bro, they've got the whole...
The game's done.
The whole Dude, they've probably got up to 9.0 written. I'm not joking, but they can still tweak if they wanted to. But the story has to be the same. But how they tell a story can be altered still. So, but I really loved it. I think Dawntrail's fun. It is fun. I used to be really big on this. I used to stream this every Sunday with my community. I took a step away. Felt, you know, that Dawntrail again. The first half of Dawntrail was just slow. It wasn't hitting. A lot of people didn't want to even watch or play because of their own reasons, let alone watch me. So I took a break, and I've done the rest of it in recording with Vee, you know, across the YouTube, and it's been fun. It's been really fun. Part of me is itching to get back into the game and do a lot more stuff. Maybe learn an extreme together and maybe do our thoughts on that or something. We mentioned that at the beginning of the video, so please leave us, you know, some feedback on that. You know, if you'd like to see that, you know, leave us a comment down below. If you don't want to leave it here.
Honestly, I wouldn't be against trying Beatrix, you know, just for the sake of it. We've actually never done an extreme together, and how fun would it be to just kind of sit one day and just try and do the I call it the Beatrix, but let's call it Zelenia or whatever.
Well, I'm just saying I'm calling it Beatrix, but I understand what you're Zelenia,
yeah. So I think that it's very it's fun, and seeing the original fight as in on normal, it gives me higher hopes for Savage as well, and I am not against. Yes, for the extreme.
Yeah, sorry.
I wouldn't be against making more FF14 content and just playing for myself, because even though the MSQ itself doesn't have a lot to do with how willing I am to play the rest of the game, it affects me more than I thought it did, for a few reasons. I think that having a good story makes me more inclined to play FF14, which doesn't really make any sense, because raids should be separate, you know, crafting should be separate, but if I'm disappointed with the overall story, it makes me less inclined to actually play the game. Even though the combat or the fights or whatever, they may still be good. So I'm actually okay with that, and I have to just bring up a point as content creators, because this is just something that we have to talk about, and we can't ignore the fact that when an expansion has an overall bad reception, you won't find many content creators who are going to go against the flow and spam content that they think is going to tank their channels. And for someone who does YouTube or Twitch or both full time, it's the harsh reality, and we have to stay on top of these things. And when an expansion is hitting, of course you're going to see more content creators create good quality content, and it seems superficial. It seems like you should just be doing whatever you want. So even if you want to play Final Fantasy XIV, you should just be uploading content. But you know that that's not how the reality is. I know, as a complete side topic that I won't go too deep into, but when FF14 kind of sort of fell off after Endwalker, and people stopped being as interested in it fell off engagement wise. So people I guess the initial surge of new players and people who were participating on Twitch and YouTube and whatnot, and watching content, hanging out in streams and whatnot, when that fell off, a lot of content creators had to find alternatives. I took a break from Final Fantasy XIV to grow my other YouTube channel, which started off as Variety. Now it's mostly Persona, because that's where I found myself, but I still come back to FF14 whenever there's new content, and now I'm actually enjoying it. So
I think another thing we're going to be doing, for those who didn't gather we would be doing it, we will be doing the 8-man raid content as well. So we won't be doing like Savage or anything, or at this given time, but we will be doing the next 8-man raid. We admittedly only did the 8-man raid once. We've got the video on YouTube. We didn't do much more of that, and I kind of wish we did, because it was fun. You know, and maybe we'll spam them in our own spare time. But when we do decide, maybe one night to start getting into like doing a bit of like extreme farming or something, maybe me and Vee can sit sit down, stick a recording on for 2 or 3 hours, and just try and get into a party finder, do some learning. Right now, while it's fresh, and we could maybe, you know, show some footage of us learning or something, and maybe you could do a voiceover or something, and just maybe talk about your overall experience and what you felt like Extreme was, or something like that.
All right, man. Go back,
yeah. We'll think of something, but. All this to come, hopefully, in the future. If you also like World of Warcraft content, Vee also makes World of Warcraft content on her channel as well. And I'm also, with Vee, having a bit of a series going on where technically taking a bit of a break at the moment, but
we have to continue that. Yeah.
Yeah, but we've been playing a lot of World of Warcraft. Yeah, we're currently
in Burning Crusade, maybe halfway through.
Yeah, we've started to play through a World of Warcraft where we've gone through the base game, then we're now in the Burning Crusade, and we're going through all the areas in every part of the zones and doing quests. Basically starting from Burning Crusade. We didn't do that with the base game, but we're going to be going into, we're into Burning Crusade, going through all the zones. I think we're like nearly halfway done with all the zones. They're about an hour or 2 or 3 hour long when you've put the whole zone in one area with doing all the quests, but it's fun to kind of like have that maybe a bit of banter between me and Vee and just hanging out and talking about the game and maybe comparing a little bit to 14 and going through the story. And Vee's educated me because I'm completely oblivious to World of Warcraft, so it's been a lot of fun. I'm also a controller player, so I've been playing mouse and keyboard. But if you would like to see that series, check out Vee's channel on the playlist section and you'll see that there. People on my side also go to Vee's channel and check out that because I don't have a playlist on mine.
If you're new to Mr. Neon Genesis, he is actually a speedrunner. He speedruns Final Fantasy VII and 8 and 9. So if you're into FF any game, and especially these 3, and you want to see some somewhat competitive speedrunning when it comes to Final Fantasy VII, do check out his channel as well. You can find all the links in the description. Like both of the videos, subscribe to the channels, and let us know in the comments what you would like to see in the future when it comes to 14 and other things as well. Thank you for watching, and happy bye-bye.
Bye-bye gaming.